When no one when no one is around you, say baby I love you.
Hey Marker, 825 Forest Road Review, guys. Get right to it. Action.
What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela Caliente.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Thank you so much for making this a part of your day. You know what to do, guys. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to us on our Alamo City Movie Talk page. And thank you for making us a part of your day. But let's get right to it. Angela, what are we talking about today?
We are reviewing a Shudder film. It's been a while since we've reviewed Shudder.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
So I've been excited. I have been kind of itching for a good scary movie now.
Oh, yeah.
Now and then. But
all year round. Horror used to
round.
be all year round now. It seems like it is because normally it used to be like around October, September, maybe even August that we would see the earliest, but now it's literally all year round.
Yeah,
and I love it.
Fall is definitely the season for spooky
movies.
But yeah. I love that we got this. So today we are reviewing Shudder's new 825 Forest Road. So after a family tragedy, Truck Wilson hopes to start a new life in Ashland Falls with his wife Maria and little sister Isabel. But he quickly discovers that the town has a dark secret. So Ryan, kick us off. I know we kind of were going into this one a little bit blind here. Didn't really kind of read up on it. Didn't see a trailer for this. The poster, though, the thumbnail for this is entirely creepy. So I give props to that. Definitely set the mood for this. But going in, how did this film meet your expectations? Like, what were you thinking? Your first thoughts coming out of this film and watching it? Because I know we got to see it from our home.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. And it's rare that I feel this way, and it's not negative. It's not a negative thing. Take it with constructive criticism, as I like to say at work. I felt very incomplete. I felt like this movie was very incomplete, and the story, the outcome of the story and everything wasn't really what I expected out of this. It ended where I thought there was going to be more, maybe even an end credit scene. None of that happens. And I'm very, very kind of disappointed in that. It's very disappointing because of the pacing issues that it had. It had so much... there was like a lot of marinating happening. We'll use a metaphor of cooking. A lot of marinating. No cooking though until like the very last like 20 minutes, and then we by the time we were actually eating the food, we're just like, damn, it was that small, that little, and it felt very incomplete to me. I felt like, damn, this is it. This is the all food I get. I really could see why movie reviewers are saying this is mixed, and I get that. And there's certain cool horror jumps, and we got one of the second biggest complaint I'm gonna say too is the sound. I feel like the sound it jumps back and forth, and it builds up. And I like that to a certain degree, but it kept doing that like every, 5 to 10 minutes. I feel like that they could have shown a little bit more horror elements early on. They could have buttoned more jump scares early on. I really wanted to go and really, I can't emphasize this enough. When we talk about grief, okay, I hate to sound weird or anything, but I want to feel that grief. I want to feel that sadness. I want your audience. You need to get your audience more engaging and more emotional, like movies like shows even that just impact you in certain ways. And even an animation show that we saw, The Bad Batch, it impacts you in a very so a very impactful way. And that's what I talk about. It needs to impact you in your daily life, and I feel like that it needs to really have as a shocker moment, and I really didn't get that at all in this movie. But anyways, I'm done ranting on. But what did you think of this movie, Angela?
So I will agree. There are some special moments in here that are pretty cool. Like you say, some scares, some horror elements, if you will. Really creepy, really spooky. I do wish there were more, like you say, especially early on. It does take a while to get where it's going. And it's one of those where it's a timeline of, I guess, a couple days in this new town, new house, and it's from different people's point of views. So it's from the brother, the sister,
which I thought was really good. It was
that
different.
Was cool, and you get to see the same scene,
their point of views of it.
Different point of views, and so I like how with every character that you see their scene, if you will, their chapter, if you will, it adds more to this overall puzzle. I like that. That was really cool. But I do agree. The pacing did definitely get to me. It dragged for me most of the film, especially in the middle. I do wish it had kind of gotten there a little bit faster. Like you say, it took a while to kind of like pick up the pace. The last 20 minutes was pretty interesting, given that we actually see this ghost monster creature, if you will. I thought her makeup was cool.
It was
that was
good.
really creepy.
I really enjoyed her costume.
Very unnerving.
Really good.
And again, I wish we saw more of that. So we kind of see her presence, her shadow, her in the background kind of, but we don't fully see her till the last end, which I thought
is whack.
I wish we saw more of her, given that they spent such a really cool time on the design on her. I wanted to see more.
Exactly. I completely agree with you there.
I will say I did, mulling it over, it did stick with me. Some scenes did stick with me more. Like, I know I work early in the morning. It's kind of unnerved a little bit. So it did its job. But I do wish it had a little bit more exciting moments. And as much as I, hate it, I do like Shudder, like their Shudder films.
Yeah.
I just wish it had a little bit more momentum, and unfortunately that does impact my overall impression. Overall, though, I think it was a good idea. I just think it had some execution issues.
Fun fact here: this movie's actually known for the Hell House LL series as well. I can understand now. I get that background context. Now I understand why I felt, because it was, in my opinion. Call me crazy. Take it with a grain of salt, guys. In my opinion, I feel like that they were filming it as a movie, yes, but at the end of the day, it felt more like a series than it did a movie.
I would have been curious to see it as a series, because they could expand more. Yeah. Now, I know you mentioned also the ending, how you didn't like personally the ending. I liked it in a sense of it's different than what we're normally used to. But I do think that the way it ended was very open-ended, and it leaves you kind of, like you say, wanting more, wanting questions, or having questions, wanting answers. So it's not that it was a completely different take of what we're used to, but it's just I felt like it was incomplete too. And
I'm going to talk about a little bit of spoilers here, but here's the thing. Here's the thing it just stuck to me, and it's very annoying. Okay, so when I mean by incomplete, what I meant to say was, there's a few reasons behind it, and I'm gonna go real quick. I'm gonna say this: I feel like the concept was the house was somewhat haunted. Yeah, I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like that movie's like that really, really expressed a haunting, of the haunting in Connecticut, of The Conjuring. That was a haunted house. Like you get to see that. Yeah,
you could debate though,
but it wasn't haunted. Like it at the end of it's just like, oh, I'll just play the piano for a little bit, and then like it just went away, and then it just didn't. Again, I go back to where I'm saying it didn't feel complete. I felt like that they could have done a lot more scares, or a lot more horror elements to really make this a genre, because this is on Shudder. Make this a horror genre, a horror thriller, and I feel like they could have gone a little bit more in depth on the story of the person who's on the poster as well, because the poster is really good. I thought like the poster was brilliant.
The ghost creature or whatever it is the design was pretty cool. I agree. I'm not entirely sure if it is supposed to be a haunted house thing, because the town itself was haunted, because it wasn't just the house. It wasn't confined to the house. I think they even said like
it's connected to both houses, because remember
both houses, but also it was like the town, like it would just things would happen in and around town as people spoke, so it was kind of ambiguous like that. So I kind of, was it like a supernatural thing?
See, here's the thing though, every time an occurrence happened or a horror thing happened, it was always at a place where something happened in the past. So I guess certain places are haunted. I don't know. It was just weird. It didn't know where to be at. That's why I think it didn't focus in on what's like. Okay, if you're gonna say this supernatural ghost or whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna go back to The Conjuring. It grew attached to the girls. And so that makes sense. I was like, okay, so the ghost
no matter where
they go, and then also attached. The ghost will grab the girl and keep her in the house. That makes sense. Okay, this one there was none of that. So I was just like, wait, what is okay? It didn't focus in on that, and I feel like it was trying to show us a tragedy that happened in the human world, which was the characters that we saw, but then didn't really show us the backstory somewhat. I feel like we needed a backstory more, at least like a 5-minute scene of exactly what happened, and show that emotional, show the context of the ghost, if you will, and really go in depth on that story. Because for me, it's story. You can't just do jump scares like what was that horrible movie? And it's a great tale. Shudder made a movie about it. It's way better. The La Llorona, and that one is. The Warner Brothers one is terrible, but the one that came out on Shudder, it's an independent filmmaker. Cool. It's really good.
So Shudder does good horror, but again, I think it was a really interesting concept. I just think they needed more time to expand on if they were going to go this direction, but just not the house being haunted, the town being haunted. The town has this history, all this stuff happened, get that too, and it wasn't just like what happened. It was like some sort of a tragedy that started it. Whatever you will. Great story, but I think you just needed more time to expand on it. So I would have, and I hate to say this because I don't want to discredit movies, but I feel like it would have been better as a TV show where you have that time.
I agree.
Go episode by episode, like you say, episode maybe be talking about the actual woman, who's doing this haunting, and maybe her backstory, and then the tragedy itself, and then the aftermath. And so I as much as I really thought the concept was interesting, loved the design of her, I just wanted a better execution.
And see, even they actually filmed in Pennsylvania, which is a lot of old folk, old horror, scary moments. I mean, a lot of filmmakers really film a lot, especially like Salem and all that stuff. So it's
because a lot of the buildings are older.
They're older, and they create the atmosphere, creates that horror element that you really can't buy anywhere else. You have to film into certain scenes, certain sites, and I love that. I love it when films do it. So I appreciate that this filmmaker really did its real location filming, scout location and everything. So I thought that was good.
But considering that he wrote and directed, I think it was Stephen Cognetti. I think that's what it is.
Stephen Cognetti.
I would like to see more work from him because I like I said, it was such an interesting story.
It wasn't a terrible movie.
It wasn't a terrible movie, but again, it had pretty good elements to it. The story was good. Some of the scenes that were pretty creepy. I will say that mannequin.
That mannequin was scary.
It was scary. So again, it had good parts. I just wish I wanted more of them. I wanted more good parts.
Same.
So overall, what would you give it a rating?
I'm gonna give this a solid. I hate to say this, and I hate to do this because I never go in, guys. I never go in thinking, "Oh my god, I hope this movie's terrible." Never go in like that. I always go with an open mind and everything. But I'm to give this a solid 4.5.
I'll go a little bit above it. I'll go to 5 because again, it did get to me some parts. I don't normally get scared, but there were some definitely spooky moments that got to me afterwards. That once you think about it and mull it over, just kind of sticks with you.
Of course.
Again, I just wanted more good parts. I wanted that to be the whole film. It did have pacing issues, but overall, I thought it was a pretty okay
did have pacing issues.
It did have pacing issues. So overall, it was a really good film. But again, I just wanted more.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for making this a part of your day. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan 680.
I'm Angela, Kelly Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. See you at the movies. Catch you later.